Hey everyone, this is Calvin Nye Comics. This is Calvin Nye. Welcome to Calvin Nye Comics. I'm currently just working on the next page of my book. So, if you want to just chime in and say hi and all that stuff, feel free to do so. I'm also going to have my video be playing having a little video be playing, and I'll try to jump in and do some chatting if you guys are interested. So, yeah, the usual stuff.
Okay. He's not in the house.
I'm on the right way! I can't see anything! No, run!
It's sad that I'm so old that that's what I realize in houses. Oh god. I wonder what their AC unit's like. I wonder if it's electric or a gas combo. Propane or natural? I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty! No! 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 No!
How do I go up?
Dude, all the lights are broken. What? Oh my god, she bought me! No, no. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
And so right now I'm going to try to just draw some small figures.
That's it? Locked?
You can click other stuff too, but no, it doesn't seem like it. And I want to enter. Oh my god!
She's not there. We're saved. Ah! What? How? What the hell? How? Wait, I don't understand.
That's not creepy.
Oh my fucking god! What the fuck was that?
Excuse me.
I'm taking a break. Damn it!
Either that or it's the photography guy. Wait. No, Leslie had white hair. That's gotta be the photography guy then. Oh, fuck! Shit! It's definitely photography guy. Definitely photography guy.
The murderer with the camera. And the son of a...
Jesus fucking... fucking...
Power cycling. my God, ludicrous. Oh.
The fuck? Is that like a dino? I feel like I should avoid. Oh! Sorry.
About this game. The hell? Oh my God! Wait, I just got here. That was actually fucking terrifying. What? Robert?
You and I both know that boxing is an incredible full body workout. If you really want to maximize your workout and start throwing harder, crisper punches, you need to master 3 core principles first. When you're working out at home, learning how to box with proper technique can be difficult because you don't have access to dope boxing gyms. You don't have a professional trainer telling you what you're doing right and wrong. I've seen countless amounts of people start boxing and struggle to see progress or get better because they didn't start with the right foundation. My name's Aaron Swenson. I'm a professional fighter and 2-time national kickboxing champion. I've been training people for over 15 years, and I pride myself on teaching technically and intentionally. So today I'm gonna teach you 3 things that are foundational that you can do to get more power and better technique in your punches. First is your stance. Now, when you're in your stance, your feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width. One thing I see a lot is you're standing too sideways. When you're too sideways, you're off balance and you can't rotate when you throw a rear hand across. So you need to have that rear leg staggered. Shit!
Real funny, Chad. Real funny.
لا لا it comes on. والله العظيم أمك الزمالة. She's back again. Shit, bro. I'm sorry. She's back again. Ah, it's hard. This game's hard. I'm done. You can kill me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm playing this game. I'm playing this game. Man. This game is hard.
There, Tim. Tim, I'm gonna keep it real with you, dude. You see this blood? There's no way that. Maybe she just had a bad period. Who knows? Let me go out this door. Okay, didn't want to go at it anyways. I'm just kidding. Let's open the door. Behind number 1, what's your prize? Oh!
Oh my god.
Ah! Fuck!
Dude!
Ah, there's an exit right there.
I'm just drawing and working. Nobody's really talking. What's up?
Did you find any new keys or anything?
Nope, but this is a new
Well,
area.
put the thing back in the
So
ceiling.
I guess we're going the right way.
Yeah, I guess so. Nobody's really talking on it today, so.
Yeah! Jesus. Fuck.
Yo, this is jumps. This game ain't gonna be subtle. This is gonna be jump scare supreme. Slather it right on top. This is gonna be like when you order a McDonald's hamburger and it's like there's more mayonnaise than patty.
What just happened? I can't move. Can't.
I knew it! I fucking knew it, you bitch! I got double teamed! Look at that shit! Fuck you, man! God damn it!
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment what horror games you wanna see in the next video.
So I keep waiting, guys. Let's get some more videos out. Let's do another horror jump scare.
I woke up next to a dead man.
The flight attendant, she knows more.
Devil fucked your mother! Get away from the house!
We all know what a fairy tale is. There's Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, Little Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel. Those are common, enjoyable fairy tales told through generations, but if we take a closer look at them, they come off as pretty dark. An old hag attempts to poison a young girl to death and kill the dwarves that get in her way. A young girl finds her grandmother eaten alive by a werewolf, all the while the wolf attempting to do the same to her. Hansel and Gretel literally get kidnapped by a cannibalistic witch in the forest. This one is more okay though, because it's German. These are all happy, fun fairy tales we know. So what happens when you have a story that literally calls itself a dark fairy tale?
Exit. Show item.
Oh, hey,
Eat the old
hey,
lady.
Liz, how you
I
doing?
bite into her body.
The mushroom juice squirts onto my face and clothes. I feel the woman's feeble hands trying to push me away, but they're too weak and my hunger is too great. She kicks about only slightly when I bite into her face. I swallow one chunk.
After an extremely depressing monologue about a plague in forest ravaging Poland, you wake up on a desk. Looking around, you notice medical equipment in cages. You're a doctor. A doctor who appears to be doing his best to try and stop the plague. After a bit of tutorial, you immediately axe your dying dog and set out into a creepy forest to find an outsider who you believe to have the key to escaping this forest. After some gentle persuasion, the game swaps focus to the stranger as you escape the doctor's house. And that's when things get weird.
Never really drawn a figure this small, so I'm just kind of like working on my working on what I can put out.
You get taken to a hideout and the full game kicks off. Your objective? Get the key out of the forest back from the doctor. A simple premise, but completing it, less so. I think this is a good time to talk about jump scares and horror. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of a pussy. Holy. But I maintain the idea that the jump scare is an absolute crutch of both video games and filmmaking, especially filmmaking. One of my favorite horror films recently was It Follows, a movie that has maybe one jump scare in its runtime, but instead adds its horror through long, drawn-out, tense scenes and a feeling of extreme paranoia. Doesn't need to rely on startling its audience like so many other garbage horror movies do nowadays. If we go back a few decades, we have The Shining, a top 3 horror favorite of mine. I remember watching the scene where the dudes are doing a little solid sucky suck and just have that quick zoom and that awkward music adds a layer of like comedic fear that you can't get with a harsh cut and loud noise like a jump scare does. A jump scare can be done right, however. Going back a few years again, let's look at The Exorcist 3, with one of the most famous jump scares probably in history. A rubber band being stretched to its absolute limit until it finally snaps with that similar zoom that The Shining did. It's very, very good. But for most other mediums, it's a crutch. The thing that makes a big loud noise and goes ooga booga to freak you out.
I guess you
and
like
think
horror
the movie
movies,
is
G.
scary. It's startling.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Startling
I mean, I'm not
is
usually
not scary.
I'm not usually like
I've done
watching
2
horror
playthroughs
movies.
of Darkwood now,
I like
and
watching
there's
the-
only thing that I
actually
might
like watching all,
call a
like, the
jump
videos
scare
on it.
moment, which is right here.
I mean, just basically like listening to like people talk about it more.
Your mic is too low, BTW.
Oh, it is? Sorry about that.
A knock on the door. Everything else?
Okay, how about now?
Completely now.
Okay, how about now?
People were afraid I was contagious. I felt gross.
It was kind of a shock.
Let's see. What are other things I could probably put in? Most like superhero
So
comic
older
books is like
comic books continue to make a ton of money. Action Comics #1 sold at an auction for $3.25 million. It was actually CGC graded at 8.5, I believe. And if you think about
Comic
it,
don't
it's
change
pretty
much,
amazing
but it's
considering
okay.
this comic, as you can see
At
on the
least
cover,
I
came
can
out
hear
in
you.
1938, a long time ago.
yeah, but right now my
Here's some
volume's
stuff
already at the
that
highest right
happened in
now, so
history
I can't go any
where
higher.
I guess paper needed to be recycled or something. I'm not 100% sure on this. So it's one of the reasons why comics really just don't exist anymore from back then, and they're so hard to get a hold of, especially like old Superman and stuff like that. But anyway, I want to talk more about modern comics. I've done plenty of videos showing just how nasty some of these newer comics can be, and a lot of that has to do with the comic book professionals themselves. They act very, very politically charged on social media, and they've been terrible to fans for years, and they have this mentality
And so,
where it's like,
if you're wondering what I'm working on, I'm doing
it's
my
not,
story
am
about a
I
superhero
good
with
enough
autism.
for you to be my fan? It's, are you good enough to be my fan? And they actively tell
And
customers
so what I'm trying to do
get lost. I don't want to get too, because I could go
is
for a
just like
while on
I'm
this
just
because
continuing my
this
story
is
about a superhero with
subject I've
autism.
been covering for a long time. But I want to start with this. So there's a
Then
group
I also
of,
listen to a few
of
stuff here
mean
and there.
girls and bullies that hang out in these private Facebook groups and on Discord where they all get together and they actively try to destroy people's lives in the comic book industry, kind of as a way to promote themselves, or if you don't work for them, they'll start rumors about you, and they will get you fired from mainstream comics. They will get your ass kicked. Bottom line. I did a whole video on that. Bleeding Fool's got somebody in the
And
inside
so,
working
like,
for
yeah.
them and kind of tracking
So
the
what
way
fun
that
things,
this
things
Mean
you like to do,
Girls
Diane?
kind of network has ran. Really good article here. There's 2 of them that they've done. Actually, there's 3. I'm going to go over the third one now. In the first one, a lot of evidence is presented to how this Mean Girls network works, and is a very, very good piece. The second one actually shows that a lot of people higher up in the industry are taking notice to this Mean Girls network.
All right, there we go.
And if they come up for a job or something like that, they actually don't give them work. Because, well, why would you want to hire somebody who's going
What
to try
did
to
you
stick a
say?
knife in your back one day? You know,
Oh,
so they can take your job.
let me see if I can actually get this all
catching
set up.
with a lot of these people.
I'm going
It's
to turn
funny 'cause
down
a lot of
this
these people in the
volume.
Whisper Network don't work or have never worked.
There we go. Okay. I think I got myself a little bit more better. And yeah, so I'm just kind of like working on a story about a superhero with autism. And so what I'm doing, and so basically when I'm doing this, I just kind of like work on a few hours, like try to work as many hours as I can to work on these pages, then go to sleep, and then just like do more later on.
Oh no, it was my volume. Ha, I'm so silly. My bad.
Thank you. So yeah, let me just adjust my camera because this I'm not focusing on anything else right now. I'm just kind of like drawing small characters. And so if you're interested in what I'm doing, I'm working on the project I'm working on right now is about a superhero with autism, and his name is Joe Hero. And basically this is kind of like one of those big scenes where where there's this whole family like fighting this giant robotic dinosaur. And this is one of my big stories, and this is like my big finale for for the series I'm working on. Self-publish, all the work done by me, and you know, I'm trying to make the story as interesting as possible, and working as fast as I can to do the story. Because you know, comic books, right? And if people get bored and just like don't want to like just listen to the stuff I do, I just open up a little a little YouTube video just to like kill off the time and everything like that. So what other things do you like to do, Delaney? Diane Lee's 22. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, so forgive me if I'm doing a terrible job.
Place again because for the big two, which is DC and Marvel. But yet they hold tremendous power, and that's because they will gaslight you on social media. Big time. They'll gaslight you and get you canceled from comics. You'll never be able to work at a big comic book place again because if you do, they will get on Twitter and tweet hundreds of thousands of times about what a terrible, nasty piece of crap you are, and they'll make sure you don't work again. They'll actively try to make sure that you never eat food with money in your pocket again. Very, very disgusting behavior, and it's part of the reason why comic books are shit now. Because, well, if they don't like something you're doing, they'll call it out and actively try to destroy you, make you look like some kind of istophobe. And the industry continues to bow down to them and let them do whatever you want. It's a bottom-up industry. You could be the most talented person in the comic book industry, and it doesn't even really matter.
Drawing is definitely not my passion, but I like to see people drawing it kawaii.
However, it's kind of working against
Oh, that's
them
pretty
in
cool.
some way. So
I mean, I'm just kind of curious. Just kind of like getting to know my...
If my name is kinda hard to pronounce, don't worry, Georgia.
Named Heather Antos, blue check mark.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll just do it. I'll just do D.
Well, did work at Marvel, worked on Star Wars, Deadpool, and a bunch of big properties. Was pretty much in charge of the Star Wars comic.
And so right now I'm just kind of like working on a whole bunch of like little figures while I'm at it.
The top dog, but like kind of just like the number 2 basically. And rumor has it she got fired because she was being lazy and spreading gossip all over the office, and that's why they got rid of her. She got fired. And then she went to like online gambling or something, some online gambling website. And then she got jobs. She got a job as a senior editor at Valiant and Image. Basically, a good example is if you know the movie Bloodshot with Vin Diesel that was out recently, that's a Valiant property. They have a lot of properties, actually. I believe Sony purchased them for that reason, so they could mine them for their own cinematic universe. Well, she tried to get a job at DC Comics, apparently. Been trying for a while.
All right. And I'm just going to change the angle right here so I can just do the legs.
That wield so much power, but in fact, she was denied.
I was having a good time with the jump scares and stuff. Ha.
Okay. Well, once this thing is done, I'll just probably go back to jump scares. It's only 5 minutes. I like to listen to like news about like comic books and all that other stuff.
Apparently, according to this Bleeding Fool article, back when Jay Lee was dogpiled by the Whisper Network, basically he was going to do, well, he did do a cover for Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog comic, and Tom King here decided he would try to please the Whisper Network. This is Batman writer, terrible writer, by the way, terrible writer. He was going to write New Gods. That's how that movie was going to. That's how I know that movie was going to be a pile of shit. But basically, he jumped on Jay Lee and said, "Well, he's working with a hike group and stuff like that." And the next day, he came out and apologized and bent the knee because, well, Jay Lee, get this, is really good friends with Jim Lee, the boss of DC Comics. And rumor is he said, "Tom King, you better apologize publicly or your ass is gone." So he did. But one person refused to apologize, and that was Heather Antos. She kept calling him out over and over again, saying stuff like this. Still waiting for any accountability from Jay Lee. Refused to apologize.
But
So
don't
Jim
you
Lee
get
said,
distracted
yeah,
by those background
I don't
videos?
think so.
Especially
You're
the
not
jump
coming
scares.
here. I'm gonna go ahead and say no to
Yeah, a little
Antos.
bit. Just like, you
We
know,
don't
it's
want
a,
you
it's just more for
over
like
here
a,
at DC
for me,
Comics.
it's like a, it's more of
So
white noise. Like,
she
you
doesn't
know,
get
it
to
gets
go
my,
work
it
at
gets my
DC Comics,
blood
and he
flowing a little
kept
bit.
her out.
I mean,
So
I don't
where's
want
she
to
going
make it
to
like a
work?
quiet
Well,
thing.
according
I
to
mean, some other times I'll actually
Parker
be
here,
playing like a few little
she's going
music,
to
few little,
IDW, which is
um,
hilarious.
whole bunch of like
IDW
music and all that stuff just for the fun of it
is
as well.
practically bleeding money, losing money left and right. The last thing they need is somebody that comes over and, you know, trashes fans. She will actively go after fans left and right. There was a time when somebody asked her when Deadpool was going to hit the printers, and she said, "You're lucky I even took it there so you could get the book." She's done a lot of stuff on social media. It's crazy. If it was any other job, she would not be working there. But in comic books, you feel upward. So now
Stupid enemy towers.
she's going to the third, one of the third. I don't know who's bigger, Image or IDW. It was like DC, Marvel.
So you just like
Image, or
so you usually like to
IDW,
watch the jump scare videos.
No DC Comics here. I just find it funny. This is like karma right here because she's desperately trying to get back.
How
to a
long did
bigger
it take you to make that drawing?
Marvel
Weeks?
to Valiant.
No, actually, this took me. I mean, here's what I did.
Don't think she'll be going back to
This whole part actually took
She
me
almost
like
got into
a couple
DC
hours
Comics
ago
until
earlier.
she
Like
went after
the
Jay
upper
Lee,
part right here.
and that didn't work.
This
So,
actually took me about like maybe 2 hours right now. I'm just working on little figures right now, and so that I could actually like build up a population because there's like a lot of people in this shot, and so I could get on the next panel and work on that next.
Insider blacklist. There's a blacklist that the Whisper Network that has people that aren't allowed to work in comics, but there's also an industry blacklist of people that have, you know, made comic book professionals' lives hell. And those people are never going to work, well, maybe for Marvel, but definitely not DC Comics. They even have a hard time getting in at Marvel, too. One or two of them squeak in there. It's totally possible, but
And so I try to like do as much as I can before I have to go to bed or go to work, which I work like 2 jobs, so it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass.
IDW is a sinking ship. I'm surprised they're taking her, but she's going there. It doesn't really matter. Other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't know what the hell else IDW has. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I just thought this was an interesting story. Good job to Bleeding Fool for this report. It's excellent, excellent job they've done with these Whisper Network articles. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, and share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my...
Let's see. No, but the illustration didn't take me weeks to do. This one illustration actually took me just maybe a couple hours in the day. I was able to have an opportunity to just like pull it off right now, but usually with all the jobs I'm working on, it's get pretty difficult to try to do all the to try to finish up everything at once. As of right now, I was very fortunate enough to finish up like one page that took me about like 2 weeks to work on, but this page actually is getting me is working a lot faster. Maybe I don't know if I'm just like cutting corners and not like putting in like my best work on these small figures, which I was doing before. But then after that, I decided to like just keep myself working and just like keep positive and all that fun stuff, and then the book will come out soon. If you're interested in any of the other books that I've been making, I'm doing a whole series about a superhero with autism. And just feel free to like go on my website, which is this guy right here, which is calvin9comics.com. So if you want to like share the stuff that I do, feel free to do so. All right, let's see. Let's get some jump scare videos and just like listen to some. Actually, you know what? The one thing I really like to do, I like to listen to the Ask Rabbit.
What
These
are
are
the
the funs.
non-obvious signs of a smart person? They acknowledge areas where they lack knowledge. Never pretend to know something when you don't is something I always teach. Covers lying and ignorance. They'll listen to the
Superhero with
other's facts
autism?
and points
Is
and
that
take
what
them
you
into
said?
account
Yes,
when
I did.
giving an objection. And
Yes, that's exactly what I said. So I try to like make the story as much as possible and just like do like every little bit as I can. So yeah, I made a story about a superhero with autism. The story is called Joe Hero, and he's trying to prove to the world that he can be a superhero regardless of his disability. So a lot of these scenes are just him showing off his big old battles and everything like that.
I hope you're drinking some whiskey.
I'm drinking apple juice, and just saying it is apple juice. Because I know I can't be drinking alcohol on a Twitch network, and that's a no-no. So I'm drinking apple juice. But you know, it's late night, and I also just I just like to get myself a little bit of relaxation and some fun time. You know, to loosen up the body a little bit. All right, let's move this camera back. You can probably clearly see that I'm like a very amateur streamer and all that stuff. So not all my work is not all my stuff that I do is like always the best. Compared to like all the other people that I see, it's like it's a miracle that I get this far.
Go get more apple juice, haha.
Nah, I think this will be enough right now. Like you know, just gotta enjoy my apple juice. So let's see. Making the big old dinosaur right here. Gonna get one more other guy over here. And then maybe another guy. Another guy right here. It's kind of like getting that cool little gun pose.
Oh, don't worry about that. The stream looks good.
Really? Huh. Never noticed that I actually pull. I never think I ever pull off I really ever pull off a good stream. I mean, especially with the fact that most of my stuff is most of my stuff is just me just like trying to like talk nonsense and everything like that. Usually there's sometimes where I just like listen to music and like then just do all that other stuff. I don't have like the big talent. I don't have the big talent casual talk like all the other ones like that I go to. I mean, I've seen some other people where they have like really good stuff there. I mean, one thing I actually noticed is a lot of streamers actually just do like a whole bunch of like digital work. Like it seems like they don't seem to like want to just like do the original like old school art style where it's just like you pencil in and just like do your drawings. So yeah, I want to just get some ass right in there.
manipulate by turn facts against you. Ha 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 ha. Lateral thinking. The ability to think about some subject, and then switch gears effortless into some other subject, and keep them tied together in some way. This can lead to some ambling conversations, but that's always fascinating. If we say smart as in creative, some of the folks I've worked with will in a conversation work through the pros and cons and explore, or be able to explore, ideas in some depth with just the conversation. As opposed to doing next steps, they dive right in and want to get to something cool. And they can do so beyond some bullshit surface level conversation. This is amazing. When you take a smart person from another field and explain your problem to them, oftentimes they will have some tried and true method that they can offer up that's novel to you, because your discipline/experience is sufficiently different from theirs. If we talk about real nuggets of gold, this would be among them. Not usually very assertive on sometimes their area
I don't
or
like
areas of
streamers who talk too
expertise.
much.
I can't tell
It's
you how many
overwhelmed,
times
so
I've
your
worked
channel
with
for
super
me it's
smart
great.
people.
10 ha.
Oh, thank you. You know, my little advice is when anyone tries to do some drawing, just, just sit down, draw. Don't worry too much about don't worry too much about quality, because whenever you like keep doing it as much as you can, your artwork will actually improve. Whether if it's going to be either the good stuff or the bad stuff, it just, you do your thing.
Who know some subject matter cold and will let some lesser opinion take hold because they didn't assert themselves. I've seen people leave firms rather than have to deal with some bad manager or co-worker who had less good ideas, but who is more vocal about them. So often really smart people will take some non-trivial measure of joy in work which most other people find ridiculously boring or tedious. Nuance in their understanding of things. Yep. Smart people rarely make big absolute statements about anything. I see what you did there. Only a Sith. Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic. To democracy. I will do what I must. You will try. Talking to a dumb person will make you feel smart. Talking to a smart person will make you feel dumb. Talking to a very smart person will make you feel smart. I was just talking with my wife about my CEO and how he shares a tray with my uncle, who is also a CEO. It's one I've observed with a lot of smart and successful leaders. The common trait is that whenever I speak with them, they make me feel really smart. They genuinely come off like they learned something from me. It makes me feel good. It's a hell of a skill. We were discussing if it's something that can be learned and practiced. From what I can tell, it's about being honest about what you don't know, realizing when someone may know more about something, asking a lot of good questions, and expressing gratitude that the other person shared their knowledge with you. They tend to be, at least in my experience, more open to criticism or being shown facts that change their opinions on things. I don't know if that really falls under smart or more of a wise trait. I'd say wise. But often those who are wise are smart, just not the other way around due to people being arrogant. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Pattern recognition. Part of the reason smart people throughout history are well known is because they discovered something new and figured out how to maximize its potential. Darwin was a guy who discovered a bunch of islands with slightly different animals. He then collected and analyzed that data to come up with the theory of evolution, which was largely correct. Einstein's theory of relativity was based off of his observation that physics acted on everything equally. He figured out that exceptions were because of the way high-speed objects interact with the universe's speed limit, the speed of light. He recognized these exceptions by gathering them and recognizing the pattern between them all, then created his theory of relativity based on that. I'd say that the faster and or deeper a person can recognize patterns, the smarter they are. Patterns are in everything: music, math, video games, really any computer program by its very nature. Language. Patterns are life. Everything you do is learned behavior from your own experiences. From how you get up, shower, get dressed, cook, eat, drive, work, deal with others and
So
yourself.
tell me about yourself.
If
What
you
do you
have a
like to do?
repetitive problem in life, always look inwards. Bad boyfriends or girlfriends, frequent fender benders, trouble with money, it's probably all you, and not the exterior world. Find the pattern and change it. I feel like I can't think of an answer for this one without immediately thinking of multiple contradictory examples. I've spent my entire adult life in academia, and there really isn't a unifying characteristic of all of the highly successful people I have met. I suppose if I were trying to get a sense of someone in an interview setting, I would look for evidence of active listening and ability to ask critical questions on the fly. That said, I know some pretty smart people who are perpetually distracted listeners. I think that's because our definition of smart is so nebulous. Is being smart about knowing lots of things? Is it about being a good learner or a quick learner? Do smart people have innate talent, or have they worked 4 years to achieve their success? Is having academic intelligence smart? What about emotional intelligence? You might call someone who can memorize things quickly smart, but you'd also call someone who can work out problems quickly smart. It's smart to take a long time to figure out a clever solution to the same problem. Does studying make you smart? Take 2 straight A students. One studies for hours, and the other is able to pick up subject material quickly in class with little supplemental work. Which one is smarter? I think smart is a catch-all word for describing a lot of different mental states and dispositions. But, especially during grade school, it's reduced down to certain kinds of success. Admitting when they're wrong. Updating their opinion/beliefs when presented with proper evidence. I don't know about this one. Met
Well, I'm
plenty
a
of
chef,
smart
so I
people in
enjoy
my
cooking
life.
for others,
Many
and
of them
I'm a
unable
really
to admit
quiet
they're
girl with
wrong.
RBF
You can
all
be
the time,
extremely
huh?
smart and an enormous asshole.
What's
In
RBF?
fact, the two coincide often. Edit. Lots of quibbling over what smart actually means. My only point is this. Truly intelligent people are not always guaranteed to be humble. They are often arrogant or stubborn. That doesn't change the fact that they are intelligent. It's worth accepting in life there are people smarter or more capable than you who aren't good people. Virtue isn't a guarantor of excellence and vice versa. They weren't that smart then. You'd be
Resting bitch
surprised.
face.
Some of the most
Oh.
brilliant people you can ever meet
Some
can
people
also
always
be the
call the
most
resting bitch face
insufferable.
is like more
Being
the
right all the time
more the
makes you
best way to
arrogant.
actually be
The
looking
ability
younger
to
and all
see
that stuff.
both sides of the coin,
Like if you
rather
look
than
at
just one side. What about the third
if
side?
you look at
Never
what's
forget
her
the
name?
third side.
What was her name? It was she used to hang out a lot with Marilyn Monroe. Aubrey Humphrey. I think that's her name was. No, not. Let's see. God dang it! Now I'm thinking about it. Marilyn. I think her name was like either Ava Gardner or something like that. Highlight. I can't remember her name, but she used to hang out with Marilyn Monroe a lot, and she always had like the resting bitch face and all stuff. But it does work a lot. Does work really well for her. I think her name was Elizabeth Taylor. Oh well, I can't. I don't know. I don't exactly remember, so I'm just gonna have to just like kind of like assume that was the case.
You can balance nickels on that side. Also quarters too. If you're good at balancing. 20p, 50p and £1 are easiest to balance because of their flat edges. Laughs in British. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. That's actually a misquote of Bertrand Russell. The fundamental cause of trouble in the world today is that the stupid are cocksure, while the intelligent are full of doubt. Apostrophe. And that sounds like it was inspired by this W.B. Yeats line. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Larger dendrites in the frontal and temporal lobes. You're a front lobe. Your mom has front and back lobes. Thank you. Being able to acknowledge when they're wrong. This and also being able to admit I don't know. Nice try, BuzzFeed. I found one carrot. How to be smart. Avoid BuzzFeed. I mean, their quizzes are so dumb they're funny, and are good time wasters. But taking anything BuzzFeed says as true, especially the headline, very dumb. Their quizzes are dumb. What do you mean? Isn't it vital that everyone find out what kind of bread they are, and what wine and cheese pairing they should choose according to their astrological sign? You joke, but there's no way you can bite into a chunk of brie with Jupiter at retrograde, and tell me mallet goes with that appetizer. Till that Reddit has not met a lot of smart people. Ellen can devour the shit from my shit sack. It's impossible to win against a stupid person. They're too stubborn, and never have the self-awareness to know they're wrong. Edit. Probability is, half of the people who upvoted this are stupid. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Just let that sink in. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level, and then beat you with experience.
What do you have
Mark
to
Twain.
study in college
It's
to
like
make
playing
comics?
chess with a pigeon.
Art or just being good
Regardless
at
of
it?
how well you play, the
Well,
pigeon
when
will
I
end up
was
knocking
studying,
the pieces
well,
over,
basically,
shooting on the board,
all I
and then
just did was
starting
just got my, I only got my college, I basically got my college degree in art and art history. Funny thing was, I actually made my book. I actually, basically at my free time, I was actually drawing comic books at a, I was actually drawing comic books, one of my comic books stories at at college while I was actually doing my studies, and so my whole plan was actually just just building comic books as I go along. Um, so yeah, I got my double major in art and art history by accident, and so but I always just wanted to be a comic book artist. Like it was one of my things that I always wanted to do when I was a kid, and just like want to make like a whole bunch of superhero comic books when as I get as I get older and all this stuff. I'm very fortunate to actually get a whole bunch of like different comic books like under my belt. Not only my stuff, but I also work for Howard Chaykin. So most of my stuff is just like trying to make the story much better as I go along. Um, you know, studying a few things here and there, and just working on like making making cool new books. And whenever I can, I keep going at just keep going at it until I get tired. And then when I get tired, I just like go to work and yeah.
round like it won. Had an oddly situation with a pigeon lately. You'd think that I would have learned after the fourth pigeon. They realize not everyone is smart the same way. Your stupid hick neighbor might have dropped out of school in 8th grade, but he can drive your car once and tell you exactly what's wrong. Then fix it. That asshole in school that had no empathy for anyone and showed no emotion made that sci-fi shit you thought would never be real. Yeah. She's dingy and her worldview is tiny, but she's the best teacher you've ever met and inspires tons of kids to go on and do great things with themselves. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here really. I use this analogy regularly with my high school students. I have college degrees, and I'm relatively intelligent in some ways. My brother is a brilliant mechanic. When my car breaks down on the side of the road, I call him to come fix it. Which one of us is the smart one? They're happy to be wrong about something, and then we'll take the time to learn about the subject. The same will go for politics. Rather than just dismissing the other person's opinion, they'll take the time to understand it. Imo. This is just having a good attitude and willingness to learn. Way more important than being smart BTW. But lots of dumb people do this, and lots of smart people don't. They don't boast about their knowledge, because they're smart enough to know no one really cares. I think it's more that they know enough to know that they are far from knowing everything. don't get caught up in unnecessary arguments. Definitely not. They can be smart enough to see when it is pointless. But I've known plenty of super smart folks who enjoy arguing for the sake of arguing. Often they may not even care about the topic or which side they take, but enjoy the act of arguing. Smart enough to know when arguing is pointless if your goal is to change the other's mind. Yes, but smart doesn't make one automatically hate debate. Yeah, I don't think it's related to intelligence at all. Someone can be smart enough to see that an argument won't go anywhere and still argue it anyways, because they're passionate enough about whatever it is they're arguing. Engaging or not engaging in arguments has less to do with intelligence and more to do with intensity of personality. Sometimes just silence. Silence is a powerful aphrodisiac. Tell that to the girls at my school. Not constantly bragging about their intelligence. If they truly are smart, people can figure that out pretty quickly without them doing anything to show it. You generally only brag about things you're insecure about because you seek validation. If you are very comfortable with your intelligence, then you may not care if someone misinterprets you and makes you look dumb or something. You have nothing to prove. That's not just for intelligence but for anything. An attention span longer than 5 seconds says a lot about RIC what you. This reminds me of the old Candler Jack meme throw. What are y'all talking ab? What are you guys sap? Come on. You guys doing the same thing over and smart, knows the answers, is interested in new things, understands ideas and is receptive, copies things/ideas accurately, highly intelligent, never stops questioning everything, is highly curious not just interested, and is very good in abstract thinking, is highly critical of him or herself and others and is intense, creates new things/ideas etc. The best person to argue with is yourself. I like to
I'm probably
argue
gonna
with
be up till
myself.
1.
I ask myself very interesting questions. Notice I said argue not talk.
Probably
When thinking about
either
something
8 or
argue
9.
with yourself.
Try to
Just
get to
not
Howard's
out
early.
loud. I don't know how to argue with myself. What are you talking about? Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there
I
all
was
day.
trying to be silly. Well,
Yeah,
I think
I
you've
mean,
gone off the deep end now.
I'm probably gonna be
No,
basically my
it's the
plan
right
is like
amount
I'm
of
gonna be
deep.
working with him,
That's
and
what
then
she
it's
said.
like
You're so immature.
get back
Why
into
can't you just
my old
transition in a
method.
more eloquent manner so the reader knows where
So
you're going?
yeah,
So selfish. I'm not selfish.
you're probably not gonna
You're
see me as
selfish.
often
Yes,
as
I
you
know
were
I
before.
am. Because I'm you. You need help. I don't know about you guys, but I'm perfectly fine. I won't be seeing anyone. You will if I say you will. And you said you're in charge. I did. Wait.
Just keep an eye out, have an eye on all the boxes and everything. They would tell me if they did. Let's see if the newest one come up. About 7/19/20 at the end of the day, which is being held. Apparently, yeah. One's actually scheduled to deliver, and it's in transit in Ventura. So, no time schedule. Available at this time, so it should be coming in tomorrow. And, you know, all of them should be coming in now. Once in transit at Bloomington, California, so a lot of the stuff should be coming in. Should be coming in today or tomorrow. Yeah. So you're good.
Did IDK. How much shrooms have you had? Good question. Yeah, good question. Millimeters. None. That's hard to believe. I mean, look at you. You're more than 10 lines deep. What do you think this is? An SNL or whose line is it anyway skit? Maybe? Okay. That's enough out you. Non-obvious sign. I would have to say emotional intelligence. Most people picture a smart person being like the typical movies nerd that is really smart at everything except social interactions or flirting, but that's not the case. Really smart people can also pick up on social cues faster and better than regular people. Take Richard Feynman for example. He was really smart, but was also very sociable. Don't forget about Einstein, allegedly a compulsive womanizer. Can confirm. I'll def Einstein. You def him only for his brain. You're so shallow. I'm looking for a mind at work. Work. In my experience, they tend to be really funny. I agree. I think the smart people are even more funny than stupid people, because smart people understand the complexity behind humor, and can make their jokes reflect that. Raise a sharp sense of humor, I think at the very least is more likely to be good at observational humor. Intelligent people find patterns, and make connections better than others. They know how to explain concepts on just about any level, tailoring that level to their intended audience, and without coming across as condescending in any way. The condescending part is more personality based, but you quickly find out how well you actually know something when you try to explain it simply to someone else. I struggle to write and talk in a non-condescending tone, and I have to constantly make an effort to come across as neutral. I hate it. And when I slip up I can tell everyone else hates it too, obviously. But it's just part of who/how I am. I'm so in awe of those people who can explain things in a neutral manner, while not letting feeling get involved. They come across as apathetically intelligent. I'm gonna keep it above 50 with y'all. 99% of these answers are just personality traits. I've seen tons of very smart people who are easily pulled into meaningless arguments. It's not a sign of intelligence to show you can keep your composure and walk away when something becomes redundant. That's a sign of discipline. Really, this should call for what defines a smart person.
My
From
mind
the
is
looks of it,
blowing with
most
this
of Reddit
video.
thinks calm
I
and
wasn't
collected
ready
equals
for this.
intelligent.
It's
I
dope.
can easily tell you it doesn't.
Really?
Plenty of really
Huh.
calm people who can walk away from
I'm
things
kind of
only
surprised
walk
you're actually
away
so
because
entertained
they
by
don't
this.
want to
Most
hear
people
that
would
they're
just like
wrong.
go away and just be
Same with
bored.
accepting that you're wrong. That means virtually nothing in intelligence. Some of the brightest people I know fucking hate being told they're wrong. Given the evidence, they'll change their opinion, but not until they die on their hill. This thread is just pointing out very, very common traits among people, so they can pat themselves on the back. Hey look ma, I'm smart. Some people on Reddit said I was. They usually don't scream when they talk. They don't start physical fights. They stop arguing when they realize that someone is desperately dumb. They learn from their mistakes. Not trying to say I'm smart. I'm in fact a fucking idiot. But my defense is that when I talk, sometimes I'm told I'm too quiet. Sometimes I'm told I'm too loud. And it's just fucking breaking me. They don't feel that they're intelligent. Whatever that means. Seriously. Can anyone give me a proper, personal definition of an intelligent person? While they know they are smarter than the average person, they also know there are people way smarter than them in any given subject or multiple subjects. It's often the quality of questions they ask to help you come to a strong conclusion despite knowing the answer or how exactly to get it. While they know they are smarter than the average person isn't that a common fallacy among most people, that they think they're smarter than the average person. That doesn't mean that everyone is wrong about it. If 80% of people think they are smarter than average, but only
Let me just get my next
49% are.
tool and not hit my camera. There we go. Ah, did I?
Then
Yeah, I
anywhere
did.
from 49% of people are correct about being smarter than average, even if 31% are incorrect about that assumption. I always hate that this answer pops up. Humility does not imply intelligence. It's just something that people made up as an easy way to feel intelligent, because it's not hard to think that you aren't intelligent, and because it's very easy to find examples of people who aren't intelligent, but think they are. When somebody's not the sort of person who needs to go into a Reddit threads hoping to pick out only the specific answers that apply to them, so they can say to themselves, see, I knew I was subtly smart. Yes. This is a personal attack to you specifically reading this right now. I feel attacked.
Okay, now let's go. Now let's get some fun and actually do some other stuff.
I'm going with her.
All right. Oh, the shadow.
Somebody ate my donuts. This is an active crime scene.
You know, I actually watched this. I actually watched this show earlier. It's actually pretty funny.
Nothing unusual there.
Who is the shadow? Only the shadow knows. But through this video, I hope to explore the history of the shadow and discover who he truly is. This isn't the Alec Baldwin shadow. No. This is the shadow. Movie studios take liberties when adapting anything and everything to the big screen. So for now, we're simply going to stick to the original material, radio and comics. The Shadow made his first appearance on July 31st, 1930, in the Detective Story Hour in the first radio broadcast of the program. In this depiction, James Locurdo played the Shadow, but he was then replaced 4 months later by character actor Frank Radick Jr. On April 1st, 1931, The Shadow moved into print publication with the first of what would become a twice-monthly publication entitled The Living Shadow. It's in this first publication that Harry Vincent is saved from suicide by the Shadow and is recruited to watch Scanlan, the courier for Wang Fu, who happens to be the criminal kingpin of Chinatown. It's also in this story that the alternate identities of the Shadow are introduced as Fritz the janitor, various Chinatown street people, Ling Chow, and English Johnny. The appearance and character of the Shadow evolved gradually over his 87-year publication history. It was in the 1940s that artists introduced the red scarf covering just below the Shadow's nose. The ability to cloud men's minds was introduced during a 1937 radio drama. It's here that it's explained that the Shadow had learned the uncanny ability while traveling through East Asia. Time constraints of the 1930s radio made it difficult to explain to listeners where the Shadow was hiding, and thus the ability was born out of necessity. It's revealed in the 1933 issue The Shadow's Shadow that his real name is actually Kent Allard, and not Lamont Cranston like the movie depicts. He was a French aviator who fought for the French during World War I, and became known as the Black Eagle, which was later revised to be the Dark Eagle. Post-war, Allard challenges himself by waging war on criminals. He falsified his death in the South American jungles and returns to New York to adopt numerous identities to hide his existence. One of the identities Allard assumes, indeed the best known, is that of Lamont Cranston, a wealthy young man about town. In the pulps, Cranston is a separate character. Allard frequently disguises himself as Cranston and adopts his identity. While Cranston travels the world, Allard assumes his identity in New York. In their first meeting, Allard, as the Shadow, threatens Cranston, saying he has arranged to switch signatures on various documents and other means that will allow him to take over the Lamont Cranston identity entirely, unless Cranston agrees to allow Allard to impersonate him when he is abroad. Although alarmed at first, Cranston is amused by the irony of this situation and agrees. The two men sometimes meet in order to impersonate each other. The Shadow's other disguises include Henry Arnard, Isaac Twomley, and Fritz, among several others. In radio, however, the identity of the Shadow being Kent Allard was dropped for simplicity and was only Lamont Cranston with no other identity or aliases. The Shadow's rogues gallery consisted of a wide variety of enemies which were predecessors to the modern-day supervillains, ranging from criminal kingpins to mad scientists and everything in between. Among his villains are Shawan Khan, Dr. Rodel Mokino, the Voodoo Master, Bernard Stark, the Prince of Evil, and the Wasp, with a recurring criminal organization of the Hand. During the Shadow's long publication history, Street & Smith, the owner of the Shadow, licensed the character to many other publication companies. The Ledger Syndicate published his first newspaper comic strip on June 17, 1940. Archie Comics published an 8-issue series of the Shadow between August of 1964 and September of 1965, under the company's Mighty Comics imprint. During this time, Superman co-creator Jerry Siegel wrote a few of the later issues. DC Comics then published their interpretation of the character in a series lasting from November of 1973 to September of 1975. It's during this time that the Shadow had its first crossover with Batman. In DC Comics Batman number 253 from November of 1973. In Batman number 259, they once again team up, and it's revealed that the Shadow saved a young Bruce Wayne's life. DC Comics once again adapted the Shadow in 1986 for the 4-issue miniseries The Shadow: Blood and Judgment. It's during this time that the Shadow was placed in the modern era and given many upgrades to his arsenal. An ongoing monthly series for the character continued in 1987 with 19 issues and 2 annuals. Marvel Comics licensed the character in 1988 and set the story during World War II with The Shadow, Hitler's astrologer, a one-shot appearance. From 1989 to 1992, DC once again published a new ongoing
So,
Shadow series entitled
what I'm going to
The
do with
Shadow
this part is I
Set
want
in
to
the
make sure
1930s,
that
it features his first team-up with Doc Savage, and often led him to encounter many
so what I'm going to do with
celebrities
this
of the
part
time,
is
such as Albert Einstein,
is
Amelia
basically that
Earhart,
this
and
character
Charles
right here,
Lindbergh. The
Starwoman, is
mid-1990s
actually
saw Dark Horse Comics acquire the rights.
so basically at this point, Starwoman is going to be like more clean missiles, while Joe here right here, which is this superhero, his beams are going to be more messier. So I'm just going to show him more like crackle beams, like curvy crackles, and just like a little bit more messier and all that stuff. Just showing that he's not fully developed to get like a clean beam like his mother is. I don't know, maybe one of the details that you might notice when I'm making these things. Is when I do some of my illustrations, I try to intentionally like make things a little bit different from each other. So since Joe Hero is basically a teenager who hasn't been trained on like how to use his powers, his stuff is intentionally going to be a little bit more messier than most of the other stuff, which other heroes are like very clean and smooth and like all that stuff. With the training that with the lack of training he gets, so his powers look much different in this form than anything else. Now let's see. I had a pencil form of this stuff.
Shadow from Condé Nast, who owned the rights to the character at the time. During the Dark Horse era, many Shadow miniseries were published, such as In the Coils of Leviathan, Hell's Heat Wave, The Shadow and the Mysterious Three, a comics adaptation of the 1994 film, another team-up with Doc Savage entitled The Case of the Shrieking Skeletons, and one final Dark Horse team-up being Ghost and the Shadow in 1995. In August of 2011, Dynamite licensed The Shadow from Condé Nast for several ongoing comic book series, the first of which debuted on April 19, 2012. Soon after this series ended, Dynamite followed it up with the 8-issue miniseries, Masks, where the Shadow teams up with other pulp comic heroes like the Spider, Green Hornet and Kato, a 1930s version of Zorro, the Black Bat, Green Llama, Miss Fury, and Black Terror. Dynamite then followed that up with The Shadow Year 1, The Shadow Green Hornet Dark Knights, and The Shadow Now, which was set in the modern era. It was announced earlier in 2017 that Dynamite had secured the rights for another ongoing Shadow comic book series. When Bob Kane and Bill Finger first conceived of the Batman, Finger suggested they pattern the character after pulp mystery men, such as The Shadow. Finger then used Partners of Peril, a Shadow pulp written by Theodore Tinsley, as the basis for Batman's debut story, The Case of the Chemical Syndicate, which Finger later publicly acknowledged. Alan Moore has credited the Shadow as one of the key influences for the creation of V, the title character in his DC Comics miniseries V for Vendetta. But what happened to the Shadow's original rights holder, Street and Smith? They stopped publishing all their pulps and comics in 1949, selling off several of their titles to popular publications. Sales had declined with the advent of television. Condé Nast Publications bought the company for more than $3.5 million in 1949. Currently, Condé Nast is an American mass media company founded in 1909 and based at One World Trade Center and is owned by Advanced Publications. I hope you guys enjoyed this trip through the history of the Shadow. If you did and you want to continue receiving great content from us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't be afraid to leave a comment as well. Until next time, my friends, I'm Shannon for Comic-Geddon TV, telling you to stay in the light, because the Shadow knows.
Yeah, here's the thing that they forgot to add in there. Howard Chaykin was also the very popular character who basically made the Shadow into a more interesting character than before.
What are the non-obvious signs of...
I mean, when he was making it, I mean, basically, if you look at the... I was actually working on some of the stuff that he did a while back. So, like, if we were going to do the mask covered, Oh no, not that. Ah, darn it. Dynamite mask. So my boss actually was working on this book cover right here. He is Howard Shaken, and I did some parts of like working on this thing. So like I helped him out like straighten out the sword and got all the stuff all taken care of. I didn't do the coloring though. This was done by another one named not Gustavo, but or something like that. So both my stuff, I try to like I try to work well with all my other comic book artists and all that stuff. But so far I just work with Howard Chaykin. So, fun facts about me.
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or use any fancy editing software. With Doodly, you drag, you drop, you tweak some settings, and boom, video done. It'll take you just a few minutes. So, let's hear from the Doodly creator, Brad, to see why Doodly is so easy to use and why you should grab this offer right now.
Hi, I'm Brad Callen, and in this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can quickly and easily create doodle videos, just like the one you're watching right now, using Doodly. Our drag and drop
I'm
doodle
curious,
software that
why
allows
is your
anyone,
character
regardless of
autistic?
tech skills, to
Hope
create
you
highly
don't mind.
engaging professional doodle videos
Let's
in a
see.
matter of minutes.
The reason why I actually the reason why I made him autistic, because part of it, surprise spoilers, I actually am diagnosed with autism myself. And so I noticed there wasn't any like actual characters with autism. And so I decided to do the story of a superhero with autism myself. Because, I actually worked my butt off and actually trying to like make comic books and all that other fun stuff. And yeah. So basically when I was hearing like what I haven't really found like an autistic superhero, like a lot of people like talked about like saying people with disability are not as popular anymore, or like they make some attempt to do a superhero, not a superhero with autism, but just like talk about people with autism in general, and they don't really do a good job on like really talking about it. Um, if we're going to talk about TV shows on this stuff, I mean, I think so. I'm sorry. I the two ones that I always check out is either the good is either the Good Doctor, which is always the popular one to talk about, and then and that's usually to me is not the best version of like talking about people with autism because it seems to be like a little bit more exaggerated and everything else like that. Another show that I think shows the better example of like talking about like people with autism and how it works is Atypical, which shows up a lot more drama about it. But when I like examine this show and all this stuff, it seems to be more accurate to like talking about like what autism is, what are some examples, what are some behaviors that people go with, and what are some of the family struggles that goes with it. And yeah, and the reason why I decided to go with a superhero thing because it's super lacking in there. And so what I try to do is like in my future books, I want to try to show an idea that people with autism can be a superhero regardless of their disability. And in this case, Joe Hero is a superhero who's trying to like disguise the fact that he's autistic so that he could still be allowed to be a superhero because in the universe that I put him in, a person with autism is not allowed to be a superhero. And that's been pretty much my stick on like how I want to do this story. Let's see.
Oh, Cock has lot of sense now.
Yeah, and so like I use it basically. This has been like my bread and butter, and like also the story that I self-publish myself, and just like making the issues as I go along. And so when I try to do like and so what I'm trying to do is like whenever I get some free time, I'll actually like try to draw the book and everything like that. So it's either me being lazy or tired, because I also work like a whole bunch of other jobs for myself, where one of them is actually me just drawing like a whole bunch of like is me just like work. I work on another comic book for my boss, and we usually just like I usually just like commit a lot of my time with him. And the other one is I try to do like another book with I try to do my own book, but then I also have Smart and Final as well, which is another job that I also work on. So I can't have this little struggles here and there. As you can see, I'm already getting that like that time right now. And believe it or not, it's
Go
only
to
been
sleep, not like this. You make me feel tired too, lol.
uh no, I'm sorry, man. I don't mean or girl, I don't mean to make you get tired and all that stuff. I tend to I know. For me, it's like I imagine myself being super boring when I'm around people. But I try my best to get people's interest one way or another. Okay.
I'm JK. I didn't say you're boring.
Yeah, I just call myself boring because I don't know if like for me it's like when I see like a lot of other people, they seem to be more entertaining or just like at least working like 3 or 4 hours on like on their stuff, and they have like a big line of like people who always keep talking about stuff. And for me, it's just like I notice I only get like maybe one person talking. Thank you, Diane. And so basically after that, it's like I just notice like when I try to like be engaging, I don't get that much attention. But then when I just like focus on the work, it seems to get that attention one way or another.
You're welcome.
And I do appreciate that. I just wish I could figure out how to get like maybe like a hunt, maybe at least like 20 people, so I could get that whole average viewer thing to up to 3, because that's like the one of the requirements for Twitch and everything like that. And so like for me, it's just like I'm just trying to figure out like how to get that staple in there and just like do my do my own book and everything like that. And it would be also nice if people would just like buy the book as well.
Marvel Comics is
I'm gonna get my free music in here.
Cause I made $1 million in a... I took a pill in Ibiza to show Avicii.
But yeah, it's also nice to actually hear like other people actually like people actually watching and all that stuff. Just like throwing in questions. It does help out to like give me like some input or just like all that other type of stuff.
Hello.
Oh, hey Rosette V2, how you doing today? So, if you are getting bored, feel free to just like ask me any questions or anything like that, and I'll tell you what I'm working on. And but yeah, I'm usually not very talkative on these type of things, but I try to like at least get like I try to get my name out there one way or another. If you like what you see and you want to see like all my other work, go down to calvinnyecomics.com, and I'm selling my books on there for about $150 right now. It's for Light It Up Blue, which is a autism awareness like a story type thing. And if you want to like show off, if you want to like just like show your support that way, feel free to do so. And if you like what you see, just follow me, like and subscribe, and all that other stuff. I'm clearly not the most entertaining or anything like that, but if you want to like throw me different questions on here and there, feel free to do so.
This is chill. I like it.
Oh, thank you. And I'm trying not to bump into this camera as much as I can and hit this thing as often as I do.
Is that Steven Universe with Thanos glove?
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, let me see if I get the image up here and just show you just for fun. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm just trying to find it. There you are. Maybe you might, guys. Maybe you might like this, seeing this. Here we go.
Oh my god, I love it. LUL, face with tears of joy.
If you if you like this part, you can actually see. If you actually look a little closer, you can actually see the Steven Universe gems. The gems on there as well. So there will be lapis, pearl, garnet, amethyst, and rose. Not rose quartz. Not jasper. What's her name? Peridot. And there's also the Steven Universe gem, the Steven Universe right there.
That's so creative.
Yeah, thank you. So I just so basically what I do is actually show off a lot of these little illustrations, and when I want a lot of these illustrations, so if somebody wants to and I'll actually sell them at shows and everything like that. So yeah. So yeah, feel free to like the work and all that other stuff. Here's some of the other ones that I actually do as well. So, you know, just kind of browse around and just look at all the stuff that I do.
My entire childhood is in this stream, loudly crying face. Have I been blessed?
I think you have. I mean, oh, thank you for following me. I appreciate that. If you'd like to support my other work, I'm working on a story about a superhero with autism. So, which is actually pretty nice. Which is one of the things I've been passionately working on right now. Actually, if you're interested, feel free to give me an idea for my next amalgamation project, or some stuff that I that you probably mix in or anything like that. I mean, I did two modern, realistic artwork, and so if you want to just see some new idea, I could probably throw it in here and just be my next little mashup idea. As you can see, yeah, I do a lot of little mix and match art type stuff. So yeah, but I am waiting for my next one to kind of work on.
It may be only the sketch, but it looks so cool, big one.
Thank you. I actually did one of Summer, when she did that whole busty summer type thing. So that was I think that was one of my last works that I really did.
The concept is just awesome.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, if you like what you see, go down to calvinninecomics.com, which is, you know, my website that I also own and all this stuff, and I can sell all my comic books there and all this stuff. Now I'm going to commit to actually making a 2-hour stream. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll answer them and all that other stuff. I'm usually very quiet on my streams, but because I'm focusing on actually the artwork and everything like that. But there will be times will talk about my story and all that stuff. If you like donating, feel free to do so as well. I also have a Patreon, which I barely touch. But if you want to show your support that way, that's also very cool as well. But if you want but if you also just want to just buy the book, I made a comic book about a superhero with autism, and so it's really cool to show your support that way. Read a book. I'm not asking you to read a novel or anything like that. It's just a little comic book that I made. Okay. So yeah. Oh, that's right there. Oh. What? Forgive me if I'm actually yawning. It's been a while.
Hey, I have to go. See you next time.
All right. Hey, it's great hearing from you. Thank you very much for very much for just like chilling out and all this stuff. It's really cool that you put your time into just like hearing from me. Hopefully you have a great time and all that other good stuff. Oh, wow. Oh, sorry about that. Where are my rude manners? Oh, okay. One of these days I would like to actually try to get myself working more than 3 hours on an illustration without getting tired. Okay, now on to the next panel. So, I also had to change up some variation on the size of the panels and everything like that. So, Ottoman is at his height. Joe Hero is actually shorter, and Star Woman is roughly about the same size as Joe Hero. So, I really got to think about like the layout of like of how my characters go in these things. because I'm trying to make I'm trying to make Awesome Man as like the biggest superhero and also the strongest one. So the size that he's in is going to be the most important factor in the stories. Okay, I'm getting tired. I think I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you very much for watching my stream, guys. I want to thank very much for Diane Lee's 22 for staying with me, and also Rosit V2 for just like just chilling in and seeing my stuff. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.